Hey guys, so it has been a while. Let's see, welcome to Project Scirocco, welcome to my channel. This is the restoration of my 1985 Volkswagen Scirocco Mark II. I'm the only owner of this car. If you're not familiar with the story, first owner back in 1986, came off the lot in 1985, put a little bit over 100,000 miles on it. And then it sat for about 15 years, sometimes with a cover, sometimes without. And when the pandemic started, I thought, well, about time to bring this old girl back to life. So I've been working on it through the last couple series, starting from the back end and moving my way forward. And if you've been following me, the last episode was basically to get the front steering components replaced, got those done, and next it's time to replace the brakes. Okay, so let's see. This car comes with some pretty simple one piston brake calipers. These have been, again, sitting for about 15 years. I'm just going to replace these. Got brand new brake calipers here. The original rubber lines are going to be replaced with new speed braided steel lines here. And then here's the old rotors themselves, which are showing a little bit of rust. I think they're probably fine. They've got some life left on them, but I'm going to go ahead, just like everything else on this project, and replace it with some new Brembo's discs up front, and we'll get going. This should be a fairly simple job today. The only thing I may anticipate I'll have some issues with is getting the braided brake lines back connected to the hard lines. Try not to strip those nuts when you're putting the two lines together. Other than that, it should be a pretty simple job. Where'd they go? So going to be reusing the old brackets that hold the caliper onto the steering knuckle as well. And of course, I had to take these out. These are the original ones to get them powder coated. I got to have some powder coating in all this project. And then finally, I've got some brake pads, brand new ones. So let's get going. Alright, so I've got the brake line going into the caliper, and that was at a 11 foot-pounds of torque. Got those torqued in. If you don't have some of these crow's feet wrenches, that's something that I highly recommend for a lot of these jobs, to get into tight spaces to actually get your torquing done. Next thing I want to do is get these caliper brackets on. And as I said, I powder coated these. These are the originals. They are identical, so it doesn't matter which one you use on which side. Both the same part, both in the same orientation. So let's go ahead and get these on the steering knuckle. Alright, so I got the caliper bracket on, and I think it went to 52 foot-pounds of torque and put some blue thread lock on. Next thing to do is to get these pads on, and upon closer inspection, two sizes, right? Two different shapes. There's one that has the pad material almost all the way to the into the carrier, and then this one stops and it seems to be a little thicker, so this is a shorter one. Nobody calls me dummy! I went back and took a look just to make sure I'm putting them on right, and the more stocky, the shorter pad material goes back in the back and will be put up against the cylinder itself, and then the one that goes almost to the edges will be on the outer edge of the disc, so on the outside edge of the caliper. So just went back real quick and took a look to make sure that I remembered which way they went, because it really doesn't show in the manual. It just sort of shows some generic pads, but make sure you get those on the right way. Alright, so the other thing before we put this caliper on is the mounting brackets, or the mounting bolts for this caliper will have a sleeve which fits inside here, right in here, another sleeve, and then the actual mounting bolt which goes to the frame will go inside there. Since these are new, these sleeves actually have a decent amount of lubricant on them already. Ew. I think it's probably best practice to make sure that they're fully lubed and just put some silicone paste on it so that they're free to go, and that's just what I'm going to do. I think they're probably fine as they are coming from the factory and coming from the parts store, but I'm just going to add a little bit more just to be on the safe side. Okay, so I gotta say, getting the caliper bracket on the steering knuckle, not a big deal, right? It's got two bolts, one here, one down here, that are torqued to 52 foot-pounds. The big pain in the butt is when it's time to get the sleeves into the caliper itself, and trying to get these stupid well, I guess it's the spacers, right, into the caliper itself, and then getting the stupid sleeve on, right, and getting it forced into this hole. It is a big pain in the rump. And I tried leaving them off, right, and if you leave them off, then the caliper actually rattles in the frame. How is that? So you can't do that. There's some kits that come with these super hard plastic spacers to go around these inserts, and these things were just a frickin' nightmare to even think about putting on.
That's what she said.
So I'm reusing the old ones. I did the old ones on here, and before, without the spacer or without those shims, this caliper would literally have about 1/8 of an inch play back and forth. And once I put those shims in, it's rock solid. So you got to get those shims in one way or another. I'm using silicone grease to try to get them in, but these things, I actually bought these through Auto House Arizona, or Arizona Auto House, whatever. It's a Melee kit, and it comes with these rubber boots. The boots were already on the caliper that I bought, but these things, not a chance. There's no way I could get those inside, so I'm just going to try to use the old ones, but it is a pain in the butt. So I think lubrication is what's needed, and that's what I got, so let's see how this works.